Working on different computers often introduce the problem of syncing files, especially when they are big. Or sometimes, you need to copy a shared resource from one computer to another, but that the computer is up, which is what happens to us lately. Thankfully, there is Synology to the rescue. Synology is a network attached storage or NAS. It is a specialized type of computer server for data storage connected on a network. Let's start setting up our NAS hardware. Let's start by configuring Synology. This Synology is model 119. Yeah, DS119. And the Western Digital Red 4 terabytes. And prepare your screw. Make sure to unscrew the two screws at the back of the hardware so that you can slide the left and the right side. There should be a label at the bottom that will tell you where to slide the right and the left side. They should be slide in opposite direction so that you can open it and you can install the drive inside. This model of Synology only supports one drive. Begin installing the drive by gently sliding it. And there's no power needed. For this model, there should be 5 screws, so make sure to tighten each of them. This is the last screw. And again, let's check the screws. We have 3 on the other side and then 2 on the other. Now we need to reattach the cover. And again, slide it gently back to its original place. And don't forget that there are 2 screws at the back. 1, 2. And we're done. Next is we need to attach the drive in our network. We need to download the Synology Assistant as well as the OS from the Synology website. So look for or search for Synology downloads in Google and click the first link. Search for the model of your Synology hardware. Mine is this 119 and it should give you all the downloadables, OS and packages that you can install. For now, I'll be downloading the OS and the assistant, which I need to locate the hardware in my network. This is the assistant, which when you install will allow you to see the hardware connected in your network, or in this case, connected in my computer directly. Why? So, right now, let's install the OS. And specify the access credentials and the server name, and specify the HTTP, or if you know the gateway, you can specify it in the parameters. So why am I installing using or by a direct connection to my laptop? It's because my router does not support the connection with Synology. It seems like there's some limitation or restriction to the router provided to us by our internet provider. In case that is true to you too, you can flag the server into your computer and see if you can detect it and install the OS. Normally it should work. If not, make sure and double check that the drive and USB connections of your hardware are properly connected. Otherwise, something is broken on the hardware level. Oh, and don't forget to set the server to the HTTP mode, so when you flag it on a network, it should be able to get the correct IP. And in case if you encounter that, make sure to contact your router provider or your internet provider. That's what I did locally, and our provider PLDT replaced my router and it worked. In case the router will not be replaced, what you can do is buy a new router. Locally, I tried it using Cisco, and plug it on your existing router to create a subnetwork, and there flag your NAS server to that newly installed router. You need to plug all your computers to this new router and adjust the IP so that they are on the same network and that all your computers will be able to access the shared drive. Around 20 minutes, I think the installation will be completed. And this is the completed screen. Now that we're done, we should be able to access the Synology server in our browser. And log in using the credentials that we entered earlier. Here we can set up our Quick Connect account. This Quick Connect account is the account that we can use to connect to our server, for example, in a mobile device. That means that this drive is not just accessible in the local network, but in the internet as well. Assuming that you have installed Synology while being connected to your laptop, and then now you bought a new router or you replace your router, and Synology is supported by your new router, you need to reconfigure the IP so that it will update its IP by getting an IP to the new router that you have just installed. Here I have an IP address with a range of 192.168.1, .x. Now let's check the admin interface of the Synology server. Login user using our credentials. On first login, it should ask us to provide a much more stronger password. And we should be able to access the control panel. Here we can change the IP. For now, we are getting the IP using DHCP from our newly installed router. Now, in case if you want to reset your Synology server, there is a reset button at the back of the hardware, and you need to press it at around 10 seconds, I think. It will reset the server, and you should be able to access the server in the Synology Assistant after that. And you can, or you should be able to have additional menu like install a new instance of the OS or configure the network. And you normally do that if you install the Synology using a manual IP. Like our example earlier, when I installed the Synology server in my local laptop or in my laptop, if I set the IP to manual and then later I move the Synology the connection to a router, then it will not work because the IP address of the router is different from the IP address provided by my laptop. So in that case, if you think that in the future you will move your Synology drive from one computer to another router and then to another router, then just set. It would be much better to set the DHCP to automatic. In that case, your router will be the one who will be providing the IP. And I think that covers the basic of configuring and setting up the Synology server. If you like this video, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.